Scary places, Aokigahara, where people go to die. Hello and welcome to this episode in my Scary Places playlist of hidden history, the channel that explores what the textbook ignores. I'm your host, Andria Redlin. I'm an author, graphic arts student, history buff, and unashamed cat lover who loves to dive into the details of history that you won't find in the textbooks. Oftentimes, the weirder the better. Who says history is boring? If you think it is, you just haven't been digging deep enough. Stick with me, and you'll find out that it's just as interesting as a video game. Well, maybe. Okay, I'll just leave that there for now. Anyways, so in today's episode, we're going for a little walk in the woods. Come with me as we explore the origins of Aokigahara, otherwise known as Japan's suicide forest. I was a little bit hesitant to do this episode as it covers the sensitive topic of suicide. I mean, I can't even think of any jokes to put in here, seriously. Let's just keep it serious for once. But I figure that even if this video, if it helps just one person decide to choose life, it's worth it. So, let's go. Now, before we get started, this is the part where I gotta put in a disclaimer, and that is this. No pictures of the dead will be shown in this presentation. Also, if you or anyone else you know is contemplating suicide, please click the link in the description to find a suicide hotline number in your area. No one wants you to die. There are those who are willing to talk to you and give you the strength to keep going. A reason to live can be as close as a text message away. You only get one life, and it's worth saving, really. So, Aokigahara. For those familiar with this forest, the very mention of the place can be unsettling. Aokigahara means the Sea of Trees. It's a place of both death and beauty. A volcanic eruption of Mount Fuji in 864 AD coated the surrounding land with lava, and it is on this unusual bed of solidified lava that the forest sleeps. It has stood for 1,000 years, a twisted, tangled jungle where few animals roam, but many tenacious spiders make their homes. Located near the base of Mount Fuji, on the island of Honshu in Japan, this Sea of Trees lies just northwest of the mountain. It covers over 13 square miles. Sounds small? You haven't ventured inside. If you do, don't leave the path. According to legend, people many centuries ago were taken to the forest and left to die here during times of famine. A place so filled with death eventually became known as the suicide forest. Japan has the 18th highest rate of suicide in the world as of 2018, which means that about 30,000 Japanese every year take their lives. Though it is thought that the most common cause is the lack of mental health services in Japan, there is also the fact that they do not like to make their personal problems known, preferring to keep their feelings private. They also see suicide differently than those in the West. In Japanese culture, suicide has been seen as an honorable way to die for hundreds, if not thousands of years. But back to the forest. The main trail in the forest, popular for tourists, is marked by guideposts to help visitors leave safely, as well as signs that discourage them from ending their lives. But for those who choose to stray from the path, leaving can be difficult, if not impossible. In the seemingly endless and silent forest, it is easy to lose one's way. If getting lost off the trail is not frightening enough, there's also the chance you will encounter a person who was once alive, forgotten and alone, rotting away with the passage of time. It is estimated that the remains of at least 100 people are removed from this forest every year by police and others who are charged with the sad task of finding the bodies in various states of decomposition. Japanese authorities no longer publicize the numbers in hopes that this will decrease the appeal of taking one's life in a famous place. The forest has many signs of human presence. Traces of nooses can often be found off the path, with strips of plastic ribbon leading the way. The ribbons, which have become sort of like a trademark of Aokigahara, are tied to the trees by would-be suicide victims to act as a breadcrumb trail to find their way out and back to the main path if they choose to live. They also serve as pathways to the dead by those who remove them. Most of the dead have taken their lives by hanging. Others choose to overdose on drugs or by slashing their wrists. No matter how these people created their sad and lonely ends, their remains are at the mercy of Mother Nature until they are found, if they were ever found at all. The ashes of those lucky to be found are slowly running out of space in the buildings that house the unidentified dead, waiting to be claimed by their families. Yes, there is actually a building that is full of cremated remains, which is really sad. The Japanese believe that the forest is haunted by the ghosts of those who have died here. They claim to hear wails of lament, growls, cries, especially at night, which is why some say that Aokigahara is one of the world's scariest places. Most forests are frightening after dark, but when you know that a dead body might be hanging just above your head, that makes it even worse. Aside from the most obvious danger of losing your way, Aokigahara is filled with other dangers. The ground itself is rocky and uneven because it's composed of volcanic rock that can't be dug into, and the magnetic properties of this rock make cell phone service difficult to sustain. One false step can result in an injured ankle or a broken arm. Then there are the spiders. These creatures, though small, routinely build webs large enough to block the pathway. Tourists are advised not to venture in the forest after the sun sets. If you choose to do so, beware of not bringing enough batteries. The forest monitors have made good progress in talking would-be suicide victims out of making the wrong choice. Suicide hotline numbers posted on signs throughout the forest are often utilized by those who need them, proving very effective in lowering the numbers of those who take their lives, saving about 20 people per year. Other people of a more creative nature try, in their own way, to convince those who wish to die to change their mind. Kiyoshi Watanabe, who is the ice cave manager and a musician who lives and works near the infamous forest, plays his guitar and sings outside the forest every night. He says that, and I quote, "When I sing or play music, sometimes people who are in the forest change their minds and walk out. I thought if I would continue to play music here, people would stop killing themselves," unquote. This is from the documentary Undercover Asia, Saving the Suicide Forest, which I've linked below. The final chapter, now what? One of the saddest things about depression is that many people are good at hiding it. They go through life pretending that everything is fine, yet underneath, their smile is a dam of tears waiting to burst. What we all need to learn is how to recognize these telltale signs that are not quite as obvious as being out of sorts. I've linked a few articles in the description below if you want to check out the not so obvious signs of depression. If you suspect you are suffering from depression, please talk to someone and get help. If you know someone who's depressed, be there for them. Just be there. Cheer them up. Share a joke, but not at their expense. Make them a batch of cookies as a surprise. Ask them out for coffee. Call them if it's been a while. Yes, actually call them. Texting is good, but sometimes calling is better. And what's the bottom line? They need to know they matter, that someone cares. It can make the difference between them choosing to die or choosing to live. Help them choose life. Well, my hidden ones, that's all I have for you today in this Scary Places episode of Hidden History. Thanks for sticking with me to the end, and I definitely appreciate a share. If you know of any scary places you'd like to learn about, drop me a line in the comments. Until next time, stay hidden. This video was sponsored by Winter Moon Designs, linked below, where you'll find apparel, gifts, housewares, and hidden history merchandise. We hope you'll continue to support our channel and make it possible to create more exciting and scary content just for you.